Hi, welcome to Mission 919, my channel devoted to information and narratives of African achievement, well-being, and prosperity. And today I want to talk about life expectancy and infant mortality on the African continent over time. So a few statistics first, then I'll get to my basic points. First of all, this is according to Worldometers website, covers world population, demographics, etc., etc. In 1950, on the African continent, the infant mortality rate continental-wide was 183.15. Again, how accurate these numbers are, we can be debated, I suppose. But these are the numbers. So in 1950, infant mortality 183.15, and deaths or children not surviving under 5, 310 per thousand. These are both per thousand. So that's 310.75. That's 31% of children who are born are not surviving to their 5th birthday in 1950. In 1960, the numbers were 154 and 258, respectively. And 1990, 100 and 165. And today, 2020, that is 70 years after 1950, which you could say is sort of the end of colonialism, roughly. The infant mortality rate continental-wide in Africa is 41.59, and the under 5 rate of non-survival is 62.56. Now, so we've gone from, in 1950, 183 per thousand, or 18%, did not survive infancy. Now that's now 41.59, so a little bit above 4%. So that is almost a little bit less than 96% of babies or newborns are surviving infancy. And the under 5 rate is 62.56. So from 310 to 62, that is a massive decrease. That's a different world. It's a different world. Life expectancy, continental-wide, 1955, 36 years. In 2020, 64 years. That's almost a 30-year increase in the last 65 years. That's almost 6 months per year. Increase in life expectancy. That is rapid, and that's taking into consideration what the HIV and AIDS epidemic has done in the continent. So those are quite impressive statistics, I think. Now for a couple particular countries. Ethiopia, life expectancy in 1950 was 34 years. In 2020, it's 67 years, for a gain of 33, almost twice. Life expectancy has almost doubled in Ethiopia. Infant mortality in 1950 was 199 per thousand, and non-survival rates under 5 was 333. 33% of children did not survive until their 5th year in Ethiopia in 1950. Those numbers now in 2020 are 29.52 and 43.99. So from 199 to 29, and from 333 to 43. Those are drastic decreases in death rates. Really quite amazing. A couple other countries. Rwanda, this is quite amazing, I think. Life expectancy in Rwanda in 1950 was 40.2 years. 2020, it's 70 years. 70 years. Infant mortality in 1950 was 150. In 2020, it's 22.57. And just to give you a little bit of a context for that 22.57, in 1965 in the United States, infant mortality was 22.33. So, I mean, that's very impressive, very impressive. Actually, to give you another state of comparison, the country of Portugal, in 1975, had roughly the same infant mortality rates as Rwanda does today. So Portugal in 1975, after centuries of being a colonial empire, essentially had the same infant mortality rates as Rwanda does today. Ghana, 1950, life expectancy 42 years, 2020, 65 years. Infant mortality in 1950, 147. Today, 30.8. Under 5 rates, 1950, 249, and today, 44.69. So really tremendous decreases or increases in survival rates. And last one, Nigeria. 1950, 33 point, infant mortality. 200 in 1950, 54 today. Under 5 rates, 335, 90 today. So we can see there's a big difference between Nigeria and Ghana, or Nigeria and Rwanda. The under 5 survival rates are twice as low, 2 times lower or more in Nigeria as opposed to Rwanda and Ghana. So given the population size of Nigeria, we can see that increases in the survival rates or decreases in infant mortality and in under 5 non-survival rates would have the biggest potential impact on those statistics continent-wide because of the huge population in Nigeria, over 200 million out of the 1.3 billion on the continent. So that's one thing we can gather, that progress has been made everywhere, but there's been more progress in some countries than others, and Nigeria is not keeping up in these statistics, and so that is a focus. That's a legitimate focus of concern, and hopefully that situation can be remedied as soon as possible. Also, essentially, I was looking at the basic statistics for Asia, and essentially the African statistics for infant mortality are what they were in Asia in the year 2000. So essentially Africa is 20 years behind Asia in that regard. So I think what we can conclude from these numbers is that Africa as a whole, and many countries on the continent in particular, are most definitely in the modern world with respect to health. They're not at the top. They don't have statistics that pertain in parts of Europe and say Japan and Canada and so forth, or even the United States. But the statistics are comparative or competitive with places like Asia 20 years ago, and even parts of Europe, say 40 or 50 years ago, and the United States, 50 and 60 years ago. So that is a tremendous change from what pertained or obtained 50, 60 years ago at the beginning of the end of colonialism. And so we can see that despite the complaints about corruption and poor governance and so forth and so forth, either those are overblown, or there are other trajectories, other tendencies taking place on the continent, leading to drastic and significant and very meaningful improvements in overall health, as they are expressed in these infant mortality and life expectancy numbers. So I think it's all really good news, and may it continue in this along this trajectory in the years and decades to come. So in the name of the ancestors and the unborn, who are the same, Ashe, 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 and we will see you soon.